Okay, so you get the material of your choice, any color, any pattern, and the I can put different sizes on there of length and width, which is going to determine what size bow you end up getting. This one is 11 by 7, and it will make a 5-inch bow. Then, once you have this cut out, you'll get another piece and cut out. This smaller piece is what goes around the middle of your bow. It holds it all together, makes it look nicer and neater. The small strip, I do about 1.5 on the side here for the width. And then this is about 3 inches. So 3 inches by 1.5 inches. You can play around with that as well, because eventually you can cut it down if you got too much. Some people like a little bit more, instead of just, because you're going to wrap it around the middle, having it a little bit longer, instead of just wrapping it once. Some people like to wrap it twice just to give it a little bit more bulkiness in the middle and just to make it pop out a little bit more. So then you'll have that. And then um, I never do any sewing or anything like that. You can get like a ruler or one of those fancy grid mats that have the rulers built into them, and that. But for me, I just got a tape measure to measure. Um, you're gonna need a hot glue gun, glue sticks, just in case. Um, these are like little bows, you can stick in the center, if you're doing them for like your daughter's hair, because this also applies for hair bows as well. Because once you get it made, you can glue this into the center of the bow. And then on the back of it, you can also glue these on, if you want it for like a child. You just glue the back of it on there, and then they can clip it into their hair or get one of those other type of barrettes. Also, what I like to use is the liquid stitch. It helps keep the fabric all together instead of using a lot of bulky hot glue, because we're gonna glue the fabric, so it doesn't pull up once you get the bow together. Ribbon, you can get all different colors of ribbon and textures of ribbon to like go with your bow that you're creating. Um, this is the, oops, I'm not sure what size this one is. Oh, here it is. A 5/8 inch ribbon. They do make the smaller. It's about maybe like a half of that, which would probably be a quarter size ribbon. Maybe like for the smaller type dogs, maybe like a little Chihuahua or something would look decent. This one maybe would be good for like a medium sized dog. They do make the thicker ribbon, of course. It might be the 1/2 inch width. Um, to make that collar look I'm doing. What I do is, once I get my bow together, we will cut this to a like collar length. And right now I've been just tying it, so owners can just untie it. Of course, you can buy Velcro and add Velcro to these, and then you can Velcro the bows on and off. At the back of the bows, you can also, you know, glue on like elastic on the back of the bow, and slide it through the dog's collar that they already have on. So that's also an option. So here is an example of one of the bows I already did. And I cut the length here. I got the lengths of the collars. It's kind of like the bandanas, how many inches around. It gives enough length to either use Velcro or to tie it onto the dog's neck. And of course, if you don't want to do like the collar method, you can definitely, because I glue it on the back here, onto the back, you can just have like a small little loop of Velcro or elastic and feed it through the dog's collar. So if you had your elastic like this, you just put your collar through. So that is the outcome of that. Here's one that I did for my daughter. We put the little gem in the middle here, and then on the back we attached the little clip so she can put it in her hair. So this is nice, and this is the 5-inch bow and we did start with the 11 by 7 material on this as well, and it is still, if I can put it up here. Okay, this one we must have cut a little short on accident, so this one's more like 4.5. But typically you should be getting about 5 inches of the bow. Let's see what this one is. Oh, from the sides. Maybe that's what it is. The side of the bows. Yeah. So yeah, so this one is about the 5-inch mark from this part of the bow, not the top, because it does curve in. So maybe that's where I got it wrong. Yeah, just a smidge. But anyhow, so those are a couple of the bows, and we'll go ahead and start the process, which is very easy. You do not need to know how to sew. As long as you can work a glue gun, we're good to go. And if you don't, well, there's probably a tutorial out there somewhere. Okay, so I just like to put a strip up at the top. Some people will fold this over. I estimate when you fold it over, it makes a crease in the middle, so you know where the point of the middle is of your fabric. So my crease of the middle is right here. You can use an iron if your fabric is not making that crease in the middle with just your hands. Me, I don't even usually make the crease. I just estimate, because it's just about, you're not going to notice once you have your end product. But you're going to go ahead and put just a little, if my glue will work, strip on like this. And the purpose of that middle point line would be because you're only going to go just past your middle point with your fabric and press it. So that's why some people like to make that crease, so they know where the middle line is. If you go past that middle line, more, like, because you're going to go a little bit past your line, if you go more on each one, you're just going to have a smaller bow this way. So, or if you make it bigger, it's going to be a little bit, wider. But you can play around with your fabric if you have extra materials to play with. And then you're going to do the same process on the bottom. Put your bead. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put some on there. And don't worry about all these little frillies. We can tidy that up later. And most of the time, you're not even going to notice once it's all together. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to put it just past that middle point and overlap it. And you're going to press it down. Like so. Okay. Now, Here we go with the middle point of reference for the middle. Some people do it. I typically don't. Don't worry about it being cut uneven. That's not going to matter once it is folded. If it bothers you that much, go ahead. So, like I said, we get the point of the middle. And obviously you can iron it. You're going to put a bead of glue. And I'm just going to do this on this side. So it's already here. You put a bead of glue on both sides. You're going to pass the middle just a smidge. Press it down. And then the same way with this side. You're going to pass that middle part. And you're going to press it down. Now sometimes the glue doesn't go all the way through the fabric, so if it lifts a little bit right here, you can take your glue and put a little bead inside there like that and squish it. Okay. And see, this is here, so it's not going to matter, and I'll show you why in just a second. So this is the back, obviously, because it has the lines here of being folded. And this would be your front. It's a little scrunched up. I could iron it out so it looks nicer, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So we got that folded. Now you're going to take this one and you're going to kind of do only similar. You're going to put your bead up at the top because you don't want these rough edges to show. You can if you want, but it will look a lot nicer if you don't. And then you have your point of reference. I just estimate and squeeze it. Do the same. Yes, my material is a little uneven. Obviously, I'm not much of a sewer and I don't have rulers and such. So I'm just kind of going with it and just try to make it as even as I can when I fold it in two. So you just fold it and you have your seam kind of in the middle. Okay. Now for this, it's all fringy here. It's all fringy here. All you got to do is trim it off. If my scissors will work. Okay. And then it makes it look nice. So I trimmed that off. There's some here, but it's not going to really matter. And then we're going to trim this side too. And you can just tidy it up or you can trim a little bit off. That's why having that extra length on it is nice. Some people might want to take maybe a lighter or something to it and kind of burn it so it doesn't unfrill. Okay, so I'm back again. So if you want, you can burn the edges to make it a little bit neater, but once you fold it, you're not even going to see it, so you don't have to. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your material now, and we're going to do an accordion style. So you're going to take the top part, and you're going to fold it down. Like that. And then you're going to take your back finger and push this with your thumb, kind of like you would snap a button, and put it together. And hold it with your other hand so it doesn't come undone. Then you're going to do the same. You're going to push it up. And you're going to just keep going. Like so. Okay. Now it kind of looks like a bow. I'm off center actually, so I need to kind of squish it a little bit over here. Make sure when you're doing it, you are centered. There, I fixed it. Then you can flip it over. I'm going to switch hands to flip this thing over. And then what I like to do is use my hot glue gun as like a little bit of a cheater. Put some glue in the crack to hold it together. on both parts. So then you don't have to keep constantly holding it as well. And then when you sit it down, it'll semi-stay together, which will give you enough time to put your fabric on the middle. So when you put your fabric on the middle, you'll put a dot of glue on. Make sure your seam is backwards. Don't have it like this. So you're going to put that on. Hold it on there for a second. And then you're going to start wrapping it nice and tight. All the way around. And you keep going until you run out of the material. And then you're going to put your bead of glue on. And press it down. Try not to burn your finger. If you put too much glue on, it's going to squeeze out and burn you. And let's just say it hurts. I did that yesterday. Okay. And now you have a cute little bow. And yours should look very similar. So now you got a bow. And this would be the time if you wanted to put like any gems on it. You could do that. You could hot glue in the center and put a bow. So if you have a smaller bow, you can stick it in the center like I did with this one. This is my daughter's. We did like a little hair clip so she could put this in her hair. So you can make a baby bow and then glue it into the center on top of each other. So you can have two bows. And you can like mix match colors, different patterns and such like that. So now that you have this, obviously this looks more like the back and this is the front. I suppose you could use either side. Once you have it together, you'll be able to tell which side you want to use. One side sometimes looks better than the other. For example, I had this multicolored material, and this is actually the back of the bow. But you wouldn't really be able to tell because I got the seams covered. I typically put my bows together with the fronts, but this material, the back of it looked much better because this was the front. And I had pink on this side and then a little bit of multicolor on this side, and I didn't like it. I could have. But yeah, so this technically was the front. And this was the back, but I liked the back better. And if you make your bows good enough, and you cover your seams good enough, and the material is not all wonky, some of them look a little bit like this one looks different in the back. That's why I used this as, the back of this, whereas the front looked a little bit better. So you'll be able to decide which side you would like to use. Typically the front is better, but unfortunately this front side was not for me. So now you're ready to put final touches on it however you want onto the back of the bow. And sometimes the little cutoff can be in the back too. You're going to take your ribbon. If you're doing a collar, you're going to cut it to the length that you want. I already did. And then what I do is I fold it in half so I can find the reference point of the middle. And I just kind of pinch it to make a crease. So when I open it, I will have the line of the middle. And that is when... Let's see here. Kind of like that side. I can put a dab of glue on there. And then put my ribbon on. And then of course, if I've only been tying them, so I don't have the Velcro to add to it, but you definitely could probably glue some Velcro onto this to make it a Velcro one. Or if you did the elastic band, you could glue it and make a loop with the elastic band, so then it just slides through the dog's collar. Although it would be going the other direction from the top to the bottom, so then it slides on and off as needed. So that's pretty much how you make a bow. Very simple.